So can I get some closure? Stay right where you are and don't come closer. If you haven't picked it up, it's over. You wanted her, so just give me what I deserve. So can I get some closure? Stay right where you are and don't come closer. If you haven't picked it up, it's over. Run back to her, 'cause I got what I want, closure.
That's a lovely find, trying to hit Greer, trying to go over the top, grinding all the way underneath. It's going to be a redemption opportunity, and it's a layout goal!
And then launches the blade, that's gonna work, it's gonna land just outside. Will Chevron let him in? What was that?
Great catch, leaves her feet to make sure of it. What a fantastic left-handed catch.
Sits into the position, underthrows, but over-corrected. Has options, overthrows, and it's rescued anyway! Sometimes things just work out.
Oh my goodness, how did he catch that? Oh, so much separation, surely that's good. Full stretch layout. Gets the block. Boy down the line. Flissman catches the goal that wins Bristol another national title.
Getting so much joy in these small spaces. What are you supposed to do? Miraculous.
Good morning and welcome to Nottingham for ULTI.TV's coverage of the UK National Championship. I'm Stefan Rapazzo alongside Rachel Douglas to bring you the action. The first game on the slate in the women's division, Spice taking on Horizon London versus Leeds. Rachel, it's a beautiful morning. I'm not sure it will persist, but a lovely morning. Excited to get started here, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. The women's division, I think, is going to be an absolute scorcher this year. So really excited to kick off with this game. As you said, the sky is blue, but the wind is blowing. And I think we're just going to expect to see that continue over the course of the day, potentially getting some crazier weather as we go on. But for now, I think the teams will be pretty happy with the conditions as we launch Nationals 2025.
Yeah, exciting stuff. Indeed, I feel like this division has the most parity. Anyone can win it. Horizon kind of inching their way into the bottom of this division. They might have their hands fullest of the competitors. And Spice, as much as they may not be the favorites, they've got a swinging chance, as do so many in this division. So very excited to get stuck into this and see how it shakes out. As said, Spice should have the decided advantage in this one to start. But Horizon, you know, they're not coming all this way to let the on-paper assumptions carry through. They're going to stand in their way as much as possible.
Yeah, speaking to Katie Allen, one of the Horizon captains before the game, she was sort of saying they just come with this like positive energy, trying to control the controllables and throw everything at it. They're so pleased to be able to come here and compete against these opponents. They did say that they're used to playing Spice, you know, like they obviously know what kind of looks to expect, that kind of thing. So they're just going to come in and throw everything at it. And of course, Horizon managed to create a little bit of an upset last year at Nationals by beating Sick in the pool games. Which, you know, that sort of energy that they can bring, and they can really kind of put the pedal to the metal at the crunch time, was proven last year, and we're really excited to see what they bring out this year. Spice looking really strong. I think it's been a tumultuous year in a sense for them, in that there's been a lot of change. Spice were previously, I don't know if they were sort of a Midlands team or a non-Geo team, but have sort of relocated their centre of gravity to London and seen the return of a few players who hadn't played with them last season. Kate Gibson returning to the Spice kit to play alongside her sister Heather. A massive return for them, as she got gold with Deep Space in the mixed division last season, but really excited to see how this game's going to play out and what both teams are going to bring to the table.
Well, we are underway now. Gibson with the first pass right up the guts and the big shot. Wong hangs one up. 2 underneath. Box out was good, but jumped towards the disc at the last moment. Joanna Robinson unable to get the clutches around it.
Yeah, Ali McIntosh well positioned for that. It just hung up in the air, both able to get underneath it, but McIntosh maybe just with that few inches advantage in the height department, meaning able to get the hands to it first. A bit of a discussion, I think maybe there was a foul somewhere else on the field, so just a quick check-in, but that's been called as a turnover.
And Horizon with a break chance. Up the line and just out of the clutches. Rachel Sue couldn't get there, but the throw made it that much more difficult. Symington the other way. Floater. Ooh, and another chance and a takeaway. Horizon. And this wind wreaking havoc already. McIntosh pops one forward, hits Bristow, and then the ground. Gibson picks up. Robinson. Eyes to center. Looks the up line and tries to put it into a very tight space, and that's snatched away by Cooper and given right back, and the turnover count is mounting early in this one.
I think that's 3 turnovers apiece so far.
And they're still going for it. Symington on the chase will receive, not quite in. From the doorstep, Symington shakes, and great little cut. A shovel pass into the corner, and they do find their hold.
Yeah, quite a fiery start in terms of the Horizon defense. Horizon proving that they're going to get under these discs, absolutely attacking every single opportunity there, getting the turns, but I think didn't manage to complete a subsequent pass. So every single time giving it straight back, proving the kind of the ferociousness they're bringing, but maybe just needing to have that kind of shift with a slightly calmer mentality onto offense. But getting the disc off of Spice and kind of asserting some dominance on defense in the first points, great, particularly for the mentality of both sides as they dial in to continue the play as we move forward.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing job one, getting the takeaways. Of course, you've got to get that second phase of defensive ultimate to convert, but promising start for the Horizon D-line there, getting 3 takeaways.
Yeah. And the wind is coming kind of almost directly into the camera on this side of the field, so it really does feel like quite a strong crosswind. We saw a lot of discs being pushed into this kind of home side corner of the end zone. Horizon struggled to get it off of that line, and that's, again, I think, because of the wind and the pressure. So I think we can expect to see that consistently as the game goes on and how a team's going to adjust. But now we have Horizon coming on offense, finding space, nice movement down the field.
From that far sideline, Horizon centering, Glasspool fires one and right through the clutches of Huddart. Now picked up for Spice. Beamish gives and gets it straight back. Eyes upfield, big gainer there. Cinnamon sends deep. The help defense was there, but not quick enough to slow down Trevino, and that's a break for Spice.
Trevino doing an excellent job of getting position. It looked as though Bacon was going to have a play. They were positioned kind of deep. They should have been able to kind of take that line, but I wonder if just didn't quite have the same read on the disc, and Trevino being very decisive, very assertive, getting her body in the way and making sure. We see here again that turnover, a slight pressure, a slight poach off from the Spice side, meaning there's a bit more pressure on that catch, but up until that point, Horizon looking really smooth in their offense in a way that we sort of hadn't seen from their D-liner. So it does seem like, when they take their time, when they find their space, they're able to put those passes together. But at the moment, they're just still kind of feeling a little bit of maybe rushed catches and a little bit under pressure, which again, great D from Spice to be able to exert that.
Good eye to peel off, just clog up that lane, a little bit of crossing traffic. Get you second guessing on the easy catches sometimes.
Yeah, it's not even necessarily about getting the hand to the disc. You just need to sort of get into the eye line of the catcher, make them feel a bit under pressure, and the turn sometimes can come from that.
Next pull by Spice will float over to the Alba tent, and they're celebrating on the reception. They suffered a loss earlier this morning to Chevron, so
maybe
they'll
they
take that victory.
Needed a win.
And Horizon's Fern Harvey will jog it to the brick mark. Harvey into the flats for Sue. Sue fires, misses the intended target, but gets it on the curl around. McIntosh to the line and just through the hands, and we've got a player down from the receiving side.
Yes, I think a slightly sort of fumble in the catch, but I wonder if that's because of a unwanted sensation in maybe a knee or a knee area. Just having to kind of turn and come under for that might have just tweaked something they didn't really want to tweak.
We're going to take a short break here, and we'll be back with more action from Spice Horizon here at UK Nationals.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Spice 1, Horizon 0. Early stages of the game. We have had the unfortunate situation of a player going down very early on. Patty Taliongpong has been helped off the field, so we will be sending our best for now, and if we have a update for you, we will bring it. But we will resume the action from the field as she is tend to the medical staff on their way.
Tough moment for both sides, actually, to kind of come back in, get your heads back in the game. Horizon obviously will be thinking about their teammate and you know, have Patty in their minds, hoping that she's doing all right. And Spice, I think, equally, like, it's really tough when there's an injury on the field, regardless of which side you're on. And so it's quite early in this game. I'm sure they'll be able to kind of shake it off and move through it. But yeah, we never want to see it, and it is quite hard for everyone on the field to sort of keep their head in it and not let their thoughts wander as they are concerned about their teammate or their colleague.
Yeah, an unfortunate reality of sport, and particularly this one. It does happen, but you're absolutely right. A profound effect on everyone on the field. The hearts are out. It's hard to watch and to see, and so it does end up kind of resetting the mental space for all the players out there going back into play. So we will see how both these teams are able to respond and react.
Little discussion, I think, just on what the resolution of this is. It wasn't a completed catch, but I think, you know, if there is an injury involved, then they may just be clarifying you know, where the disc comes back in, who it comes back in with, and if there's any kind of further clarification needed.
Right now, it is Horizon standing over the disc.
Vissabaskaran. Otherwise, when I say it, I'm going to say like that slowly. Yeah, Vissabaskaran. Karan. I'm not certain what the correct one is.
Mena Cooper stands over the disc and does tap it. So the turnover will stand. Spice pick up the disc and blast it upfield immediately out of the hands of Beamish, but that's a turnover. And Horizon will take over from their own end. Harvey stutter steps and makes the catch before the line, and then the around blade. Cooper tests the mark and finds a way to get that one through. The defense was indeed in front, and now they test the deep space. That one's spot on. Hits for the big money. McIntosh, less than 5 away, goes to the dump space, just a bit too high. And Spice, off and running. Lim has space immediately. Not taken. They go to the middle and picked off by Katie Allen. Centered, Sue looks for meters but throws between the two options. Spice on the counter. Lim tried to isolate with no one to look at, throws the deep. It may work. Oh, just a bit too far for the bid.
Heroic effort to get down there. That looked like there was no way, but sometimes you just got to want it bad enough and a play can be made.
Oh, and there's the pickoff. Lim right in front of that one, gets every little bit of it. Centers, Stalin. Backhands in the middle, but Lim sees it turn over, hitting off the left hands.
Working in quite small spaces there. I'm really impressed with this Horizon defense, like putting enough pressure on. You can see there that it was quite a tight space, and actually there was a Horizon defender right behind. So again, I don't know exactly what kind of they're trying to make happen, but unfortunately the Horizon offense just a couple of overthrows, I think, maybe just a bit of excitement, putting a bit too much on these discs, but getting the turns and you know, keeping that pressure high.
I don't mind the throws for field position right now. Huck and hope, the punt and pin, however you want to call it. If Horizon can keep playing defense the way they have, it may play out, but this looks good. No, yes! Second chance! Great bid there to keep it in hand. Yee with the goal and the spectacular highlight play.
Talk about showboating. Get a little punt on. Didn't quite get it on the first effort, but just so they can make an absolutely heroic save. Layout in the end zone to finally put away. That's only the second point. That really feels like we've been on a long road and we're only on 2 points on the board. Horizon really making Spice work for everything. We see there's quite a high stall count throw, a lot of pressure on that. Yi definitely feeling it, but able to keep cool and calm and make a heroic play.
There it is again, miss.
Yeah, you see the first effort just kind of bounces off her wrist. But yeah, not going to let herself have the blunder there. Will put the effort in to recover from her mistake. And yeah, get a nice little dramatic highlight reel moment. Beautiful.
Love it. set
gotta happen
yourself
when you're
up.
on the
Yeah,
camera.
you gotta mac it. That's not allowed, right? You're not allowed to mac it to yourself unless it's unintentional, as was the case there. What about this wind, Rachel? It's pretty much right in the faces of our camera, coming directly across the field. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, I would say that was a fair assessment about 10 minutes ago, but I'm looking at the pitch flag on the other side, and it's fluttering around. Like, it does feel like the wind is kind of shifting. It's not necessarily a totally consistent breeze, although it is pretty strong. So I think that is going to be a really tough adjustment for both sides, given that it seems a bit variable.
The local meteorologists and Cy Hill predicting that this wind will be picking up and becoming potentially apocalyptic by the end of the day.
Yeah, we've come to expect that from the UK events, but let's see how they can adjust.
Nice upline cut. Lynch holsters. And now with a mounting stall count, looking for anything wide open in the dump space is Yi. Leads for Lim, and off the left hand, only just a touch to it. Horizon will pick up. Will they punt? No. Yi takes it away, charging down to the sideline. More on the pickup. Inside, and no second effort available, just beyond Lim. And they're going to punt it again. I like the option, but lost in space there. Could not get the eyes to the floaty disc and gave defensive position away.
Yeah, expected that much deeper than it ended up being. This wind, gusty, confusing, got right underneath it. That one just went straight up in the air.
And Spice moves it 3 passes through half and a fumble. Gives it right back to Horizon where they hucked from last time. The high release backhand gets meters now into the dump space, bobbled but kept in hand by Huddard. And the lead throw cannot hit for continuation. Spice back with the disc. Moore fires, hits off the hands of Yi. And another change of possession.
Lucy Peed, we're seeing Lucy poach off of her mark a lot and put a lot of pressure onto these throwing lanes. I think really helping generate some of these turns for Horizon, this kind of poach look on the, and a bit of a line trap where possible.
Here it is. They are in for the goal. Lucy Peed on the assist, and Horizon put their first goal on the board. They're only down 2 after all this. Some slow mounting offensive possessions. They're still in this despite being outplayed, let's say, for the first couple points. It won't take much to get right back in it.
This doesn't feel like a massive gulf between these teams. It does seem like at the moment Spice are finding more flow in their offense, but as we said, Horizon have been managing to get turns from them every single point. So although Spice have put a few more on the board, Horizon really working it through there, finding some nice options, great continuation. You can see the kind of forethought of that end zone cut, really anticipating the pass before and making sure there's an early and available option. Yeah, I think it's looking great. And so 2 teams where you might think Spice are going to kind of go away with it, perhaps without too much trouble. Horizon are absolutely not going to let that happen on their watch. They're really pumped to be here, pumped for this opportunity. And yeah, like they said, they've matched up against Spice a number of times. It does seem like their defense has really figured out how to put pressure on Spice, poaching off and adding a bit more limitations on the thrower, and then also forcing Spice to really have to work in small spaces, and overthrows are coming.
And Spice receive the pull. Heather Gibson. And a foul. I think that was Symington trying to force her way up the line and might have clacked hooves there.
Symington and Gibson have been a absolutely phenomenal pair for Spice. Their give and go quick movement has been really, really ferocious. I think, as you say, Symington trying to take that up line, but really smart defense to just kind of hold that position. You can see she's trying to go through where the defender is, and unfortunately you can't be initiating contact like that, so well resolved.
Up line, up to the line, the throw connects. Mance gets up line to Gibson. Gibson floats one over the intended receiver. There was a chance for a second effort, but it did fall to ground quick.
And it is gusty in this moment. Horizon picking up with, some real wind coming across the field.
Floats and made to be difficult for the reception, and that accounts for the turnover. Gibson finds center. Led right back to Gibson and in, not quite on the doorstep. Hopped in and hopped through. Arwen Tsang on the goal reception. Spice put 4 on the board.
Yeah, Heather Gibson in that middle field, it's a problem that every single team that play against Spice have to try and figure out, is like, how do you shut down that quick give-go movement? We saw Gibson going about every other there until the assist, just really tears up space, is really quick, really agile on the change of direction, and it's lethal. So far the Horizon defense has been doing great. We see that unfortunately just not able to bring it in, but here Spice working it in nicely and finding that space.
And with that, it looks like Horizon may have, maybe not. Spice are huddled up right now. What looks like a timeout, but maybe they're just using all of their seconds because Horizon are on the line with their hand up, ready to play. So we've got some miscommunication here somewhere, Rachel.
Yeah, and Spice don't seem to be...
They have called the timeout, and that was not well communicated. And Horizon showing a little bit of frustration with the lack of communication there. But with that timeout, we will indeed take a break. And we'll be back with more action from UK Nationals just after this. (4-1) Spice with the lead over Horizon, and the timeout taken by Spice. They want to settle despite having the lead. We've just realized Kate Gibson not playing, Rachel.
Yeah, a strategic move from Spice, I think, wanting to rest a player, a very kind of dominant player, to make sure that they are really competitive in some of these later games that are going to be quite pivotal for whether or not Spice get to see their position in a semi or in the final.
That is exciting stuff. Well, not that she's not playing, but that these big games are coming up. I think the one that they will have is the Spice Sick, or certainly against Bristol women as well. But big games all across the board as Horizon have moved into the attacking half here.
Yeah, a couple quick turns in the middle there. Heather Williams gets a heads-up defense back. Horizon now seeing if they can get a second point on the board, stem the flow a bit.
Williams, high stall count for sure, gets to Mayo, who continues to Bacon. Bacon blades one. Oh, look at that casual right hand, just drops right underneath it. A very difficult catch made to look exceptionally easy there, but Horizon do chalk up their second and cut the lead in half.
That was a creative option, I'll say. I was just thinking of Horizon are doing really well here, playing safe, making sure every pass really precise, and then that one goes up and I got a little bit nervous, but yeah, a very confident reception in the end zone. Not without pressure, Spice defender right on the shoulder, but we see here Horizon moving it nicely around, and then yeah, maybe a slightly more speculative shot, but when the player's there, I guess get it to them and get the job done.
The mayo to bacon combo sets up the goal for Horizon.
Yeah.
And sounds
A pairing.
like a sumptuous pairing.
Yeah.
What do we add there? Tomato? You know I would say tomato.
Yeah. Appreciate you translating.
To all you back home watching, thank you for joining and being with us. How do? I do well. Game Bob. No, that's not Game Bob. I'm not going to say your handle in the chats. But make
Nice
sure you
try.
guys are all hitting the like button. And if you're not a subscriber already, well, go hit that bell. Spice pouring into the attacking half here. Red zone shot, Tsang, and there is hands a-waving all over the place. This is going to come back. I believe it is a throwing foul, so a marking infraction on Katie Allen, who released the throw for Horizon. Let's see if we get more info on that.
Very clearly communicated from Katie Allen. I think we saw a little lack of communication earlier in the game, and Horizon are not going to be accused of that. They're being very clear with their hand signals.
I'm not sure I saw the foul there. I saw Katie Allen show the foul hand signal. I'm not sure I saw the bump or whatever it may well have been.
I did. She was shaking her foot a little bit afterwards. I wonder if there was a sort of
Stomping.
a light stomping. But either way, just coming back.
Tsang with a sticky right hand up in the air. Shoots one into the corner for Gibson. And Spice convert once again, making it 5-2. They're starting to stretch ahead now.
Yeah, keeping that buffer that they've sort of earned from putting away those messier first few points. But Horizon do really still feel like they're kind of putting a lot of pressure on them. It does feel a bit like Spicer on that point, finding their kind of offensive options a little bit more smoothly. So I think Horizon starting with this really kind of intelligent and adapted defense that I think probably was, brought in specifically with this kind of Spice style of play in mind. Spice are making those adaptations and figuring out how to find the space, perhaps just dialing in a bit. It felt like earlier they did have open players, but where they were trying to hit them on perhaps like an inside shot, those throws maybe weren't coming out quite precision enough. It feels like Spice are dialing those things in a bit more and finding that flow a little bit easier. So for Horizon to keep a possibility in this game, don't let the lead get too far away from them. They're going to need to make sure that they're giving a kind of equivalent dial up in their defense and trying to really iron out some of this offensive look once they get those turns.
That pull floats, and I thought it was going to go out of bounds, but does land just inside the boundary. High release, thrown to the right option. The big hand from Mayo, and then sends to the end zone. It's 2-on-1, and now there's all sorts of company. The trailer, Charlotte Jones, enters the picture at precisely the right time.
A lot of traffic underneath that one, but Charlotte Jones with the perfect read. You could see her tracing that down, tracking that down, going much wider than the mass of people underneath who were all kind of having to backpedal. But Charlotte Jones just, great read, great positioning, excellent backup for her teammates there.
Yeah, read positioning, just waiting out the pile there, and those are tough ones to play. You gotta assume the pack is going to miss, which is, unlikely to happen more often than not. Somebody in the pack is usually going to get into the good enough position to get a hand to it to knock it away. But luckily enough, that time, everybody in the pack read each other rather than the disc, and the trailer just kind of zoomed in to pick up the pieces.
I think that's been a kind of a token part of a central part of the the Horizon play so far on offense and defense is that they're just gritty and they're quite dogged about it. I think a lot of their Ds that they've got have just been because they've really kind of gone in guns blazing and managed to get a hand here and there, be really disruptive. And I think we see the same thing with that kind of, everyone's going for it. You've got a mess of people underneath, but Jones still going in and making sure that if there's a possibility of coming down with it, then Horizon are going to secure that point.
And Gibson with the disc for Spice. Symington looking at a zone now from Horizon. Gibson again. She crosses straight back over to Wong. Wong to Symington, popping through the front row of this zone. Wong shakes and has Symington and takes. Now they give and go for 2-3 more passes. And Symington goes around, and they are meters away now. Wong in the corner. Nice chisel from Gibson right on the corner foot, nearly on the line. And great finish. Symington just lifts the foot to show the back one's down. Symington, Wong, and Gibson, I think, did every one of the touches there for Spice.
Yeah, a dangerous combination. We did say Horizon maybe needed to kind of bring something new, some new force to their defense, and I think coming out in a zone isn't a bad look, but you really can't. You've got to come in closer. You can't give them the opportunity for that kind of dribbling, give and go, because it's quintessential Spice offense, and it is absolutely lethal, particularly when you have that combination of players on the field. Yeah, Symington just making sure there's absolutely no question that was definitely in. And I think the kind of in the early moments of that point, it looked like that zone was putting pressure on, but I guess maybe the cup just gets that little bit wider as the disc kind of goes a bit further down in flow, and you just cannot let that second player in without any defensive pressure, because they're just eating up yards and gaining momentum. And I think actually at the end there, they probably need to be a little bit aware of a double team. I'm not sure if it was super clear who was on the force and who should have dropped, but Spice happy to play through it.
Yeah, happy to play through it. I think a little bit more heads up on the crash for Horizon. They were allowing them to walk in. I think the players in the front row, a bit more of a head on a swivel, seeing who's coming in. And if you're going to be in a double team situation, you have to do it with the right timing and get in front of those crashes, as that one flies over the top of everybody, except for the defensive hands of Lynch, who centers to Moore. Moore to Yi. Into the corner. Vissa Bhaskaran, and then Horizon will take over on downs.
Yi really throwing themselves around this field. Big effort to try and keep hold of that, but again, that one just a bit low, and this wind is really unforgiving. This really has to be, a throwing straight to chest kind of situation.
Given straight back, Lynch picks up off the turf, another low throw. Lynch gets it again in the corner on the line. And waits and finds Cinnamon charging towards that front corner. Enough for another Spice goal.
Yeah, just heard the sort of slightly high-pitched call of Cinnamon as she realizes that she's got the free under. Can just get a short pop straight into the chest. Great timing from Cinnamon and great positioning to get in front of the defender and really kind of claim that space by the cone. We see that throw just a bit low. That one's kind of going sort of up into the wind, maybe more or less directly, and those ones are just going to get pushed down unless you put a lot onto that disc. Lots of spin. But yeah, it's tricky because you can't put it too high or it's just going to lift. So but you've really got to kind of put as much kind of IO on that as possible, get as much spin on it, and really kind of hammer it, trying to get it into people's chests. Because in that corner it's going to get pushed down, but facing the other way it's going to rise.
Shouts out to all you in the chats. Rexy down under. Part of our ULTI.TV Australia crew. Love to see you, Rexy. And everybody, Greeny. We got a couple Australians. And, of course, Game Bob, as we're
Great Game
going
Bob
to be calling. Make sure you all let us know who you're cheering for, where you're watching from, and all that good stuff in the chats. And as I will continue to prompt you, hit the like button. There are many of you watching. It's very simple to do. It is the icon that looks like a thumbs up. Easy to find right under the screen.
Give us a thumbs up, guys. Come on.
help the algorithm help the sport of ultimate.
All right, Spice with a zone of their own now.
Give them a taste of their own medicine. Bristow to Allen. And Allen again. Horizon have at least 4 behind the disc for moments at a time here. The around by Harvey does connect with Allen, and she pumps it deep. Looks like this could connect. There's 2 there. Then it is pancaked and flipped over a little too early.
That's so unfortunate. I've really loved Allen's look this whole game. I think been really decisive on offense and really contributing a lot on defense as well. That was a bold look. Love to see it though, kind of really keeping Spice guessing. But yeah, unlucky. A little bit of a spin on that. Hands not quite lining up.
So Spice on the counter. Beamish from just next to the brick mark. Waits, tries to hit Lynch, and that's intercepted. Allen goes back to center. Harvey gets the lead throw to go. Connor to Harvey. Harvey fakes, flips the grip. Ooh, up, second chance available, no! Floats through the hands. Harvey went up and down and up again and was just so close, but could not make it happen. Trying to cross the field. Great late hands there and late eyes by James to not give that away. And then a catch by Lynch. Go into the ground. Great catch. Moore sets up, and James appropriately gets that goal. Great response by Spice. That is a half taker. 8-3. And what a response. I thought Horizon were doing so well, and just right down the other way so quickly for Spice.
Yeah, Horizon, their offense looking really smooth. I loved the movement they were finding, but it's that the kind of throw, like right when you get into that red zone area just in front of the end zone, slightly rushed, and in these conditions it's just unforgiving, that throw kind of popping up. And a great snag from Lynch, one hand going to ground, and just really decisive. I think Spice setting themselves up really well, finding that space. McIntosh with a big defensive effort there, but not able to put enough pressure on to get the turn. And Spice quite sort of comfortably and emphatically taking half to this game, 8-3 over Horizon.
Looking very good. All things good here in Nottingham. We're going to take a short break and be right back. Make sure you're with us.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Spice with a lead over Horizon here at the University of Nottingham, the host site of UK Ultimate's National Championship. Thanks for joining this live coverage on ULTI.TV. I'm Stefan Rapazzo alongside Rachel Douglas, bringing you the action. Rachel, a good bit of resistance by Spice. The scoreboard is showing that the separation is happening there, but, you know, cliche to say the scoreboard doesn't totally reflect the game. I mean, they are inching ahead, but I really do like what Horizon's leaving out on the field.
Yeah, and I think this is when you see teams that are really in like a building phase and kind of gaining momentum, you often do see like real moments of genius and great flowing moments, but sometimes a kind of a lack of ability to close those out and put those points in. But we've seen some real defensive excellence from Horizon in this game so far, putting a huge amount of pressure on Spice, which is not an easy thing to do. And we have seen some lovely offensive flow, but just oftentimes tripping at that last moment, not managing to get that final pass into the end zone. But so far it's been, it feels more evenly matched than the scoreboard lets on. But, we're looking at Spice coming in seeded 4th and Horizon coming in seeded 7th. So it's not totally surprising that this might be the scoreline, but Horizon definitely making Spice work for all of their points.
And see if they can get the work done on the offensive side. Oh, the chase to the sideline, and Cornu can't hang on. And another one goes the way of Spice. Moore from the sideline waits for a cut, and then tries to cut the field in half, but that's not going to work. Nice smack away by Bacon. Up line, Pede leads. Nice left hand to keep it up, Jones. A break chance available here. Bacon to the line. Huddart and not able to collect.
I think Moore got a hand to that. It was quite hard to see that kind of cross-field throw. It was quite ambitious. Yeah.
Ah, wow. Great touch.
Yeah, just managed to disrupt that enough. Again, beautiful flowing offense from Horizon. Really lovely, great D, but just not able to kind of make that final pass to get it on the board.
I think I was wrong to say a break chance available. This was Horizon who started on O in the second half, I believe. And this now is a break chance for Spice, but it goes over the head. And Horizon will pick up and go again. From deep in their territory. And no foul call. I'm surprised. I thought I saw some contact on the release, but Spice pick up, and they're on the goal line now. Led in for the goal. And Lucy Cinnamon with the catch as Spice go up 9-3 now.
I think the challenge there was a medium speed turnover. We talk about kind of fast turns and slow turns. A fast turn being like the disc turns over and someone gets it moving before the defense has a chance to think about what they're doing. That one felt like it wasn't fast and it wasn't slow. Horizon weren't set in their offense, but nor were they taking advantage of a distracted defense. So I think sometimes those can be pretty dangerous, particularly when you've got the whole field to travel. That it went to a deep disc. There wasn't a huge number of players around. So there are a few options, and Spice were quick to switch on there. Some of those kind of more strategic processes may be something that could help Horizon a little bit, like, not thinking a bit more about what is our approach to this. When are we going to do a fast turn and when are we going to do a slow turn? And just trying to make sure they're kind of avoiding any of that confusion in the middle, because at the moment, as we said, they're having these beautiful moments of flowing play, but there are little mistakes here and there which are kind of disrupting that. And you want to make sure that your systems aren't introducing any of those, and you're kind of setting yourself up for the best opportunity for success.
Can't ask for much more than that to be set up for it. Execution's a whole nother story.
And I think we saw in the first point, Horizon struggling. They were getting turns and then, not managing to make a pass after that. I think later in the game, I thought they've been making excellent choices. A lot of the time, the disc has gone where I think it should go. It's just been, a bobbled catch or a slight overthrow that's been the problem.
Yeah, agreed completely. It's not been incredible. Oh goodness, just over the head there. I would say it's not been incredible defensive plays that have been taking things away. It's just been little misses, little bobbles, like that one there. That was so close over the head of Rachel Sue. A valiant effort. I like the option by Harvey, and beats the defense, and just beyond. And that is the difference right now, those not hitting. Spice hope to break again here. Beamish crosses the field. Marsland finds a way to get it back to Beamish. Beamish opens the arm. Trevino on the other end, but oh goodness, smacked away, but in to the hands and followed up for a goal. Wow, how did that happen? Visa Bhaskaran in the right place at the right time. That was a proper defensive spike that did not turn over. And there it is again. Wow. Good on ya, Bhaskaran. And then the easy finish for Marsland.
Well, you say easy. That was still, it looked maybe like that pass was a little bit behind Marsland, but a kind of a great sort of just jumping forward to make sure they're in, but their feet are in, but having to kind of reach backwards for the disc. I think Spice, it does feel like maybe the difference here is that kind of execution, particularly in the catching. I think that might be one of the kind of the bigger differences, that Spice are just able, they have those sticky hands, they're able to kind of come down with those ones, whereas we've seen a few more kind of slightly unforced drops from Horizon, where otherwise things were flowing quite nicely, and we see kind of plays like that where, you know, it's just grit and you know, what hard work that's getting Spice down there, making sure there's a backup, and then someone coming through quickly. So even if the throws aren't perfect, even if the options aren't perfect, they're still coming down with them. Whereas I feel like for Horizon, a lot of the options have been good, but perhaps they just haven't been able to kind of hold on to it.
Bounces not quite going their way the same as Horizon start on 0 once again. Looking all the way downfield, Glasspool to Mayo and back through the hands of Pede to Mayo, and once again Pede. Mayo looking at this Spice zone front. Giving and going with Glasspool.
So I think the zone that Spice did earlier in the game was a 3-person wall and a person defense downfield.
One floating to the end zone. Will there be a chance? Not with that defensive pressure.
Yeah, and I think that one was a slight switch. I think that maybe they were sort of doing more of a true zone, but yeah, hard to say. That disc goes high. Spice quick to pick that one up.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. But they do keep their hands on it. Tsang goes for Robinson. Robinson gets a leading throw. Tsang throws for end zone. Not quite. Lands in the hands of Stalin, and then the hand block on the line. And she goes to hold the back of the calf, and injury is called.
Yeah, we see that maybe that was Spice looking for that faster turn, but and actually, you know, maybe about to deliver it, but an injury call will slow things right down.
Here it is again. Whoop, whoop. Oh, that's in the middle of the play. But here's the one that lands on top before the block. Did she come down awkwardly? Not sure, but it's Horizon disc. But they're unable to materialize to Huddart. And to pick up for Beamish in a short field, less than 20. Robinson now certainly less than 10. Shot for goal. Connects to Yee. And Spice are double digits. 10-11 now to 3.
We've seen Spice really growing throughout this game. I think coming into this, obviously, with coming in seeded 4th against seed 7, feeling like they have the advantage. We know Kate Gibson's being rested this game. Spice are being quite strategic about how they're kind of warming up into this tournament. They're putting a lot of effort on the field, but it does feel like they sort of aren't kind of overexerting themselves, and we can see them cycling through their different offensive and defensive looks, trying to make sure everything's nicely warmed up, using this opportunity. They've got this buffer against Horizon, so they can now kind of be a bit more comfortable, test out their systems, make sure that different zone looks are warmed up, make sure that they're sort of playing as efficiently as possible. You know, they're going to want to have their fresh legs or their legs fresh. Some of them are, you know, you're going to have to get people playing games. Kate Gibson will be coming on with entirely fresh legs, but you want to try and preserve the energy of the folks on the line. And so we have seen that kind of dialing in for them throughout this game, a much greater efficiency, much greater kind of focus on execution. I think they've adapted to the wind really well, and as we said, their ability to catch slightly more kind of creative and less conventional discs has really come in clutch for them and helped them put away a few points that could have otherwise been a bit more of a grinding effort.
You mentioned Kate Gibson saving herself for later in the tournament. I see Grace Wilkinson also on the sideline, running well, talking to the team. So perhaps a second. We'll see if we can get to the bottom of that, if she is also being preserved for later in the tournament. And that one goes away from Spice. Horizon will take over in their own end. You
mentioned the sideline. I think also looking at the team list, Spice are a significantly larger squad than Horizon, and resting a few players on the sideline means that they are always going to have a good number of voices that can talk to the people on field. So Horizon, I think, a couple times have been a bit slow on heads-up defense that otherwise they would have been coming down with. They've proven they can get those Ds earlier in the game, but sometimes maybe just not having the feedback to realize effort there, but not coming down with it. Rachel Sue.
Emish on the pickup. I do like that bid. Tough to miss on those ones when you chuck the body. Emish waiting for a dance in the backfield from Lim. Doesn't get it upfield to Trevino. Now Lim again. Lim fakes the forehand. Gives the backhand, and Trevino open to collect 12-3. Pretty looking ultimate in the red zone there.
Yeah, Spice dialed in and being quite punishing now. We see that Horizon again, they can force errors, but they're not able to then respond with that kind of offensive flow. And it does feel like Spice's offense has been tidying itself up continuously over the course of the game, and they're obviously dialing in a bit more on their defense as well. They've sort of figured out how to put pressure on, and as we said, Horizon maybe just not being quite as tight in their execution, and Spice doing a really good job to kind of slightly pressure and force some of those errors. We see really flowing movement here. Trevino with that bounce back. And if your defender isn't totally switched on, and that can be really lethal.
Well, Spice charging ahead now. 12-3. They have got their eyes set on the finish line and potentially looking ahead to their late day matchups. Speaking of our broadcasting schedule for the day, the next slot at 12:40 local time, which is in about 1 hour from now, 58 minutes. We'll have Bristol Open taking on Alba later in the mixed division at 2:30, 14:30. Heck taking on BN1. And the final time slot of the day back in the women's division, Iceni taking on LMU. All sorts of action before things really break down tomorrow. Semis, so much excitement with all the world clubs, WUCC spots on the line here. 3 spots in the men's division, 2 each in women's and mixed. So the semifinals will, getting into semis is a big first step, but then those semis in women's and mixed, so much on the line beyond just getting into the final. Horizon in control of the disc. Munn gets it off to Huddart. Nice space in the middle there, back to Munn. Low delivery and great defensive takeaway. Kiara Moore shuts the door. High overhead, but the backup plan is there. Cinnamon throws behind Lynch, and she makes a play, and now Chuck in. That one has too much on it, bouncing off the Flik Ultimate A-frame.
I like the look. I like the kind of the receive and put, and I think the cut was there, but just not adjusted for the conditions. And I also think that the throwing channel was quite narrow. It'd been great to see that cut deep, maybe from slightly wider, or Lynch recognizing their kind of middle of the field positioning and putting a bit more, I was going to say a bit more shape on it, but I guess that's quite a big ask in these conditions. If you put more on it, then it's perhaps going to be taken even further off. But I think perhaps in that instance, it's less shape. It's putting it out flat into that far corner so that they're able to run onto it and the wind doesn't have a chance to get underneath it.
Woo. Nice hand by Mayo, and then throws into a bunch of traffic, and Moore is able to pick up for Spice. Gibson Nice quick around, but does overshoot Lynch. And that was almost bobbled back into the hands of Lynch. But it wasn't, and that's a turn, a pickup chance for Horizon.
Horizon yet to score in this second half. Wind is gusty, and Spice won't let that pass them.
Gibson and Moore exchange. Gibson has eyes for the end zone, but does settle with the traffic in the lanes. Right back to Gibson. And tries to lead Simon, but overshoots.
Horizon defense, I'm not sure if that was going, I think that might have just been poachy rather than an actual zone look, but doing a really smart job of kind of holding space and forcing those tighter throws.
Ooh, nice hands by Munn. Clapped that one in, and she sends the blade and hits. Charlotte Jones and Horizon have their first goal in the second half. 4-12, they got a lot of work to do, but still plenty worth celebrating after not finding that end zone for so long.
Yeah, a well-earned point on the board. Just kind of, I think that might have been slightly blown coverage. Just having someone free in the end zone and doing a good job to get it to them before the defense have a chance to recover. It felt like Horizon deserved that point. They deserved another score on the board. They put a lot of work in the midfield and just really struggled in the red zone, but have really been kind of putting a lot of pressure on Spice and really making them earn their points. And I think, yeah, I'm glad to see them get another one on the board. So far, we mentioned at the beginning of the game the sort of defensive look from Horizon being really gritty and really kind of determined and dogged, and I think that that's how they've attacked this game. I would say that even though the scoreboard, you know, the gaps got wider and wider, they've just kept their effort level high. They've kept trying to play their game. They keep being smart on defense. And as we said, there's just a few kind of errors on catching. There's some overthrows, that kind of thing, but I like the options they're taking. I think their defense is looking really smart and really effective. And so it's really great when, you know, you can kind of, they came into this game talking about controlling the controllables, and the things that they need to tighten up on are things that they can control. And I think that's really promising for a team that is kind of continuing to build and grow.
University of Nottingham, as they go looking for the disc.
Yeah, that one.
We've got a new one, though.
Sailing over into the car park.
And Gibson from the brick mark. And what is the call here?
Foul call.
We've got the disc back, but while we're trying to figure it out, it's a good time for you to hit that like button. Go on. Hit the button. So easy to do. I'm told it will make you better looking. Ooh, low throw, hits the ground, and that will change possession. Pick up for Cooper. Looked for the gainer, but bounces away, and now Spice again. Gibson on the pickup. Gibson to Wong. Now Wong to Symington. Symington. Gibson floats one to the end zone. All sorts of traffic. And it bounces away, unable to complete.
Glasspool making plays, getting that defense. Horizon's swinging it around the back.
And get that completion to Sue. Sue goes to Allen, and lots of contact there. Symington gets up quickly. I think they were both just a little blinded. I don't think anybody went in dangerously, but yes, you can see the Horizon player trying to get out of the way in the last minute and unable to, had committed Bristow, but happy enough to play on, and This wind wreaking havoc, but Gibson plucking it out of the sky nonetheless. Gibson to Symington. Playing in the backfield, Gibson then takes a shot, but it is knocked away. Hetty Connor with the block.
Horizon defense being punishing in this end zone. Quite an expansive look. Can they get it? Can't get a hand on it. Cooper trying to scoop that up, but that's just a bit too ambitious.
Leading throw goes. Gibson takes a deep breath to try and settle the troops. Now it's on the line for Tsang and in for goal. One throw later. Is that Robinson? Indeed it is. And Spice only a few away from ending this one now. 13-4.
Horizon red end zone defense, really solid. Any of those kind of slightly more speculative, anything with a bit of air under it, they've got loads of purple shirts and they're really making sure that they're not giving Spice any opportunity to receive stuff in the air. Unfortunately though, when they're giving those kind of midfield turnovers, Spice are just punishing. They're brutal. They get the disc, they move it so quickly. It just felt like the defense was never really able to get positioned on that last offensive look, and just moving it so quickly. Heather Thompson, such a big part of that. You see her like adapting for the wind, I think, and really kind of setting the example. When she's throwing, she's stepping really low into it, making sure that she's got that kind of center of gravity and putting a lot of spin on the disc, and she's able to do that and still, you know, throw and be gone before you've even blinked. So it's really kind of an impressive athletic show of how to kind of keep your skill but keep your speed. I think the Horizon defense, despite their heroic efforts, are just not able to contain that at the moment.
You're right. Heather Gibson has stood out very much in this game for many reasons, but quite particularly that give and go, the low release throws, and now I think the score line is in the head of Horizon as well as the late game fatigue. And a gift for Spice, and they unwrap it quickly. Stalin with the goal, 14-4, one away from ending this.
Spice is a team that's been building, you know, season on season. They're, in terms of both of these are relatively young teams in the women's division. You know, they haven't been around quite as long as teams like Iceni, Bristol, SICK, and yet they kind of have really built a lot of momentum over the years that they've been working and finding a lot of new talent to bring through. So both sides, I think, really kind of pushing forward. Spice have that edge. You know, they've got a couple players who've been sort of GB representatives. They've been like competing at that highest level and who are really able to kind of lead from the front. Horizon, I think, have all of those kind of components of like the, you know, they're finding the spaces, they're making good decisions, but I think just more like reps, more opportunity to play against these teams will really be so valuable for Horizon. And we know that they've qualified for Div 2 at Euros this year. They're kind of waiting to see if there's going to be kind of sufficient teams for that division to go ahead, but they're really excited about that opportunity, and I think that's absolutely, you know, the kind of thing that's really going to help them dial in and maybe see a little bit more of that kind of throughout game trajectory that we've seen from Spice. You know, they started a bit shaky and then they really dialed in and locked in and focused on their systems and tightening things up. I think the more that Horizon can be exposed to this kind of team and indeed new European competition, that would be so valuable for them.
You're absolutely right. Nothing will propel your team forward like high-level reps, and they're happy to have these ones here at Nationals, and they would be very hopeful to get more at Euros in Div 2 if they can, and we hope that division goes ahead. And they're very happy to be cashing in late in the game. They put the 5th on the board there. A nice sequence of play. Maybe the last offensive possession for Horizon. They've made good with it, but you never know. Maybe they're able to keep that door open. Cooper sends that one in with the assist, and Horizon make it 5.
Yeah, listen, I wouldn't write off the opportunity for another offensive look. This D-line are getting turned still, even this late in the game. It's whether they can do something with it, but that's an example of that kind of really great play, like Horizon just coming out with a lot of momentum on that point, executing well, finding the space. Like we've seen that at times from them throughout this game, like real kind of beautiful moments of synergy and where things have just lined up and they've executed precisely. So yeah, great to see that form. We know they can do it. Let's see them get another ferocious D and see if they can replicate that again.
Here comes the pull. Jade Bacon indicates readiness. And Spice ready to receive. We are underway. It's game point for Spice on a reception. Pick up by Robinson. Dump space. Wong. High stall count, but does dish off, and there is Gibson, who's been awesome. Great choice there. Big meters for Symington. Wong turns back to Robinson, and they are chiseling away on the far sideline. Now Wong, catch on the hip. Gibson turns inside, then outside, finds a way through. Lou to Robinson, and that'll do it. Spice put one into the dub column. 15-5, the win over Horizon, and a good first game for them to really find their footing.
Hands on head for number 20, Nicole Munn. There looked like you can see she's laughing, but looked like that might have been one of those opportunities for Horizon to get another, kind of cheeky defense.
How did I not get that?
Yeah, couldn't quite do it, and actually, great effort, great heads up work by Horizon, but Spice just showing that extra, class and intention and able to put the game away. Like they kind of attacked the second half really smoothly and yeah, with a lot of focus.
Well, thank you all for joining us in the chat. We get the Midas Touch comedy show going on there at the bottom, but great having you. Make sure you do all those good deeds to help the algorithm and hence the sport and UK Ultimate, and of course us here at ULTI.TV. We love you for it. For the whole ULTI.TV crew, for Rachel Douglas, I've been Stefan Rapazzo. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll catch you all next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.
To yourself today, just try to open up and show someone you care. It might not be intentional, but you seem scared. Just try to open up and let it lead somewhere. Breathe in some love, let yourself unfold. Breathe in some love and let yourself unfold. There's something juvenile about your pretty face, but it seems so hard for you to know when you need space. I hope you find your peace and that you get a taste with yourself.